This is part 7 of Building Giig, the Devlog series which follows me day to day as I attempt to build recruitment software that competes with the Goliaths of the industry. Okay, so we kickstart this week off on a Tuesday. Yesterday was a bit of a strange one. I managed to get loads of time done on work, but we were also plagued by the outage, the AWS outage, which made things just a little bit trickier. Now we're not directly hosted with AWS, so we weren't affected that much, but there was kind of the tools that I had to use day to day to know what I'm doing, the tasks I'm doing, live chat, things like that, all seem to run on AWS, so they were all hampered by that issue, which just made things a little bit trickier. So I was kind of just like head down, getting things done, and then all of a sudden I'd have like loads of live chats pop through at the same time, which seemed to happen throughout the morning. But because of the issues, we didn't get notifications of them. They all came at once, so it was kind of like really quiet periods where we could get lots of work done, and then really manic sections where we had to jump in and do live chats. So it was a bit of a strange day. But all in all, what I basically did yesterday is I focused mainly on the PDF generation of the CVs, and there was a couple of things that I wanted to make sure that were in there. Firstly, the quality. So generating a PDF, I needed it to be like crisp text. The logos needed to be in there for obviously the company logo, which weren't before, and it had to be the right size so that people, when you're looking at the screen and you're looking at the preview that was on the screen, it looked the same as when you actually generate the PDF. Otherwise, what's the point of having the preview in the first place if it doesn't look the same? Oh, the other thing as well was page breaks. Obviously, PDF, the CV could go over like 3 or 4 pages, and where the page breaks were, it was breaking in the middle of text and things like that. So you would get in like half text on page 1 and then half on bottom of page 2. At the start of page 2, but some text was like sliced in half. So there was a bit of work around making sure that didn't happen. Basically, if a section was present over a page break, then it had to be either moved up or down. So that was a piece of work as well. Here's a demonstration then of everything I just spoke about there. So this is our test candidate. Obviously this looks absolutely hideous, but what I've done here is I've basically just tried to make everything hideous so it all stands out, if that makes sense. So when I'm developing, if I make changes to these layout options down here, changing the colors and the text and all that to make it look absolutely disgusting, hopefully something will stick out like a sore thumb when it looks not disgusting, to highlight that control's not working properly. So hopefully when we launch this, we'll have like a template that looks nice, and people will make their branded CVs look nice. But for now, this is our hideous example. And if I click download branded, we've got then the loading icon to show that a button's been pressed. There was feedback to say that a PDF had been generated, and obviously it automatically opens in the browser and automatically downloads as well. So you can see we've got our logo up here, and everything just follows the exact same style. Nothing's hampered by the page break, so that if you can see how close these sections are together, you can see then that additional padding was added at this section to combat the page break. So that's PDF generation basically. And then we've got the redacted option, which just hides a couple of things from our settings. You can see that only past experience and the certificates are on there now. So when I click download redacted, we'll then on the fly get our redacted CV. Obviously the name in there is likely not going to be on a redacted CV, but that's just the settings we've set up. And then we can also make changes on the fly as well. So if we go back to branded, we'll bring back our controls, we can change some layout options. Let's change our text size just to be huge so we can see it's still taking shape. We'll hide our company name, and we'll change the color up here to this lime green. So you can see we've made those few changes, and if I click download on the fly, it will then pick up those changes. You can see we've got green, we've not got the logo, and this big huge ass text here. So I think it's pretty good. You get that instant feedback every time that you create a change, and you can hit the download button instantly, and it just makes a download copy of what you see here. So rest of the tasks then to do to get this finished, we've got a couple of bits to tidy up. We've got to create a nice template or a nice starting position for a CV, so if people just want to come in and say yes, let's just use branded CVs with our colours, then at least it looks nice. There's that to do. There's little things as well, like these icons. They don't make sense for this switcher. Maybe this button's not in the right place. Maybe these styles need changing. And then we've got the CV tab for the original CV, and then the formatted tab here for the formatted CV, and I think we want to merge those together in some way so that the CV and the formatted CV live in the same place. So maybe these switches become 3, so we have normal CV, branded and redacted, but I don't know. That's kind of the last 3 or 4% always takes a long time, because you're finding these little changes take a long time just to get right, to feel right, and to fit in with the rest of the platform. So that's the task for today. And then when we finish that, we've got to get it in so that when you send an email, let's say you're sending Steve Was to a job, you want to attach a CV to the email that you're sending. To present the candidate, we then want there to be the option to click whether you want to send a branded or a redacted CV along with that email as well. And at the point in which from the email you click branded or redacted, or even normal, so you get 3 options: normal, branded, redacted. At that point, it needs to generate the PDF on the fly and then attach it to the email as an attachment. So that's a piece of work. They're the 2 things that need doing: tidying up, making it all look nice, and just the final finishing touches, and then attaching it to the email. It will then go through the testing process. Whilst it's doing the testing process, I'll get on with other stuff. There's obviously an absolute boat ton of tasks to do, and that will then come back through the feedback loop. We'll make changes, we'll fix some bugs if there's bugs, and eventually we'll get it live. But that's the process going forward. You can see it's really close now. Just got to knuckle down a couple more days and we'll be at the finish line. Just a real quick update then for me. I don't really have time to be sitting around doing video today. So I just wanted to do a quick video to let you know how the lay of the land is for today. Basically, I've spent most of the day doing little tweaks and things really to the CV formatter. I've been on the phone to Luke a lot. He's had time to test today, so he kind of comes at it from a different angle than I can. Obviously, we're building it all the time. I kind of get used to the controls. I get used to how it works and all that. And he tries to put the hat on of the user. He'll create new accounts. How does it look with a new account? How does it work the first time you use it? Things like that. And that actually comes up with some really good ideas, some really good feedback that he's got. So most of the day has basically just been talking through a couple of things with him, coming up with a list of small tweaks and stuff that we can improve, little 1% here and there. And then I've basically just been going through and making those changes. And I think implementing those will make the whole feature a heck of a lot better. So that's basically where things are. The features that I'm adding, or the things I'm adding, aren't really like to shout home about. They just make things a lot easier. And I think, like I said, coming at it from a user perspective, his feedback is like clear now that he said it about a lot of the controls and stuff that don't make sense on the candidate card, and changing the way some of the controls work, things like that. So there's nothing really to show for the video, annoyingly, but just head down, getting those things changed, and then I just want to get those done today, so that tomorrow I can finish off with kind of getting the CV formatter working with our email system, and then finishing things off, and hopefully, like, it's looking good, like positive feedback initially from testing, so hopefully we can then get it out next week. So we're just rushing to the end of that now, so not a huge update, but things are progressing nicely, and it's been a good day of changes, and the product is looking good, all the features looking good. So that's that for today. Hopefully I'll come back tomorrow with a screen share and things like that, showing you a finished product, but we shall see. Yeah, that's where we're at. Right, so it's actually Monday now. So I think the last video I did for this week's entry was Wednesday. I then got head down on Thursday and just did some bits, trying to finish the CV formatter off, and kind of failed, and then I had Friday off. Now this week I've got Thursday, Friday off, so it's like 2 broken weeks. I thought I'd just combine them into one video. They're both the same thing. Like, there wasn't much progress last week, and this week's just a rush basically to get things done. Like, I've got 2 days off, got 5 days worth of work to get fit into the 3 days. It's already it's 3 o'clock now, recording this video on Monday, and I've spent basically all of today on the exact same task that I spent all of Thursday on. So really no progress. Like, I've not missed recorded actual good stuff to record. If that makes sense. Basically, the issue I'm having at the moment is the spacing of the data on PDF generation. So, for example, if the CV that we're generating goes over 2 or 3 pages, obviously we've got page breaks, and what we were finding is data was kind of being cut in half in the middle of the page break, where you'd have a box, let's say like person's experience, and the title of the experience was on page 1, and then the description of the experience was at the top of page 2, or like some words were just completely being split in half with the way that we're generating the PDF. So all in all, that kind of like caused an issue, and what I've been trying to do all of Thursday and today is to calculate where that page break is in relation to the data on the screen, generate additional margin to reposition it either above or below the page break, and then generate the PDF after that. It comes with some additional things to work out. The same thing needs to be done for the footer, so the footer needs to stick to the bottom of the last page. Now this is something we did on Thursday and kind of did successfully. It's something I did successfully on Thursday, sticking the footer to the bottom. But now that I've reworked the code, kind of shift elements that were hitting the page break, now that code in the footer is broken. So I'm gonna, the rest of the day, revisit the footer stuff to try and get that to work correctly. But all in all, it's now been a day and a half, and I think I've got the page break done. All of the tests I've run seem to split the content well enough across the page breaks, so that's good. Like I said, I just need to focus on the footer now, to try and refactor that code in order to make that work again correctly, and then that's pretty much there. So on the development kind of timeline that we've got, obviously it's now 10 days behind where I wanted to finish, basically. That's obviously not helped with days off, things like that, and obviously these things, these annoying things that just take the time to get right, we can't control, but we just have to work as hard as we can and as fast as we can to get them fixed. We've still got the feature I've been speaking about since the very beginning, to get our internal email system to generate and send an attachment of the branded or redacted CV on the fly. Now we're gonna park that for now, so we're focusing on getting the CV formatter as quickly as possible, hopefully tomorrow morning at this point, so that people can start using it, and we can start getting feedback on it and start making improvements. and rather than pulling that back in favour of this additional feature to automatically attach CVs to emails, we kind of just decided to push on without it, and then revisit that additional add-on at a later date. And that obviously that's not helped by the fact I've only got 3 days this week to finish everything off, and where focus has been mainly on this feature, support board is racked up with tickets that need addressing. There's a couple of bugs that have been highlighted that need addressing. So yeah, it's all a go. I've got to finish this off. I've got to fix some bugs. I've got to progress things on. I've got to push it. I've got to debug it. And all that jazz before I close off Wednesday. Yeah, so I haven't abandoned this video, but maybe that explains why. So this video is going to be over 2 weeks. So I'll probably be back with an update tomorrow where things are, but that's where we're at so far with the CV formatter. It's Tuesday and we are almost at the end of things for the CV formatting feature. I'm kind of just been putting finishing touches to it for the last couple of days. They always seem to take forever, like the little tweaky bits. So yesterday I updated you on like the page break and the footer and things like that, and I managed to get those really nice for me. And then when it went into testing last night to try and get it out this morning, Luke basically said none of it worked. Like nothing was aligned correctly for him, which is really frustrating as somebody who basically spent like a day and a half trying to get these calculations correct. So laptop out late last night to try and figure out why things were different. Like I was like, oh, maybe I didn't upload to our test server the code changes, so he wasn't seeing the correct ones, but I had. So it was very strange, and basically it came down to what browser. So I mean, you learn something new every day, but I use Firefox a lot of the time. He uses Chrome, and they use different render engines for like the PDF generation. So scales were off, and the pixel ratios were off, and things like that, which meant that when it came to calculating pixel depth for like where elements were on the PDF that was being generated, the different browsers were rendering it differently. So whilst it worked for me in Firefox, even when I opened up Chrome or I opened up Edge, which both use the Chromium browser, or Chromium in the background, they didn't work. They had the same result as what Luke was seeing. So, I mean, in the end, it was a quick change. It was something that I'd put in place to like calculate the header for Firefox, basically. But then when I took that out and when I added that the header wasn't part of the calculations, they all started falling into place and they worked across browsers. So yeah, it was just a compatibility issue, but that meant that we couldn't get things pushed live today. Today I've just been adding some additional things to it, a bit of like our tracking to make sure that we can track in the background how many have been generated, if there's any errors, things like that, so that we can improve the product over time. And then just little 1% here and there. And I think that's finished. So if I just show you where things are with it, we bring up our test candidate, and this is kind of the finished article. So we've got our layout down this side, which just shows us our tick boxes to hide and show, and this is all that you get control of on the candidate card. The styles now are just links to the styles page in the settings. So we kind of thought that rather than confusing the candidate card, we'll put it all into the settings, and then from here you can just hide different bits if you don't want them for this particular CV. And then from here, obviously you've got your redacted and your branded. My CV looks absolute hideous, but if I click download, you can see it whirs for a bit, and then it downloads, and there's our CV. You can see here, page break's fine, it doesn't interfere with any of the content, and then down here our footer fits perfectly at the bottom of the screen. Downloads pretty good and pretty quick with decent quality as well. Yeah, so that's our feature. And then if we go into styles, these are basically what we've been building. You've seen these if you followed the other videos. But if I open up one that you can see without my face in it, you can see that we've got the icon that represents the background color. You can see stuff changing. So that's the feature basically, and you can download previews from here. It's pretty much there. So it's now going through final testing, and we'll see if we can push it tomorrow. Yeah, and that's it. So from the rest of the day, then I'm now working on support board tickets, and there's currently, like I mentioned, that a couple have been racked up. There's currently 36 tickets on there, I think. Now, I've done 11 so far today, in and around the formatted CV stuff, so they're going to go through testing as well and see if we can get those up. But the rest of the day, I'm just going to rattle through as many support tickets as I can to try and clear that board off and to try and get rid of some bugs. Yeah, and then we move into tomorrow, where we should, hopefully, if everything gets tested correctly, push this, and we'll have a day of making sure it runs correctly before I have my 2 days off. And yeah, we keep pushing the product forward, but that's it. It feels like it's getting towards the end of this feature. Now, I think this is like the 7th video over the course of 8 weeks, like this one goes over 2 weeks. But I'd actually say that the feature I've kind of only been working on for 4 or 5 weeks solid. It's obviously far exceeded the deadline I put on it, and it's gone far further than I wanted it to ever go. But I think it's a good feature. I think it works really well, and I think people are going to really like it, and it's going to add to their workflow and improve the product. So that's all we can ask for. We did move as fast as we can with it. We got caught up with a few things, but that's the way the kind of development works. You get caught up, and you can't really control it. You can't work any quicker, and like I'm working as quick as I can, I still made mistakes. So the balance is there. So yeah, that's it. I think the feature's nearly there. We're going to push it tomorrow, hopefully, and you won't ever hear me talk about it ever again. And we're going to keep moving on with bug fixes for now until probably next week's video. Okay, that's a wrap. It's live. Yeah, after all that time, after all that tweaking, after all that mucking about, it's finally live on the platform for people to use. It's been live a couple of hours now, and many people might not have even found it yet, but no issues, no bugs have cropped up. The tracking we put in place hasn't highlighted any issues there. Some people have generated CVs already, which is good. And we've got some feedback already on like little improvements, which always happens, but it's kind of like when you spend so long developing something, you miss things, and you get stuck in like our way of thinking. So then obviously when you get in the hands of people that actually are going to use it every single day, they have different thoughts and they have different things that they want to tweak. So we've got our first load of feedback. It's fine feedback. It's not like, hey, this whole thing's broken. It's feedback more like, can I alter that? Can I edit this? Can I move this around? Things like that, which we'll consider and maybe implement, maybe not. But what they'll do is, I've spoken a lot about over the course of these videos about our support board. They're tickets that will go onto the support board, and then I'll have like a day every week or every fortnight where I'll rattle through those. So some will make the cut, some won't make the cut. The ones that make the cut might take a week or 2 weeks to hit the platform, but that's how we have decided to improve things. So yeah, it's all live, it's all good. I'm pretty pleased. Didn't have much of a celebration. I kind of, as soon as it went live, obviously I tested it on my live test account to make sure it worked, and then just got on with some bug fixes, some support tickets, basically just to rattle through the day. Since then, I've been trying to work out how we can utilize our search to search within people's CVs that haven't parsed them. So this is like when you parse them, we obviously grab the data and store that in the database so that we can search it. So yeah, I'm trying to think like how can we search data that we've not yet parsed and we've not yet extracted from the CV. So that's kind of my next big task. Like I said, I'm going to have Thursday, Friday off this week, so that's me kind of rounding up for the week. Bug fixes, support board tickets, and thinking about that one issue. Next week, I'm going to come across, I think we're going to make some changes to email process to allow people with IMAP email addresses to come into the platform, which they can't do. Like, we're restricted email at the moment to Outlook and Gmail. And then reporting is kind of the next big feature on the list. So at the moment we don't have reporting in the system. Yeah, and I'd like a way where somebody could be like, hey, this action, who on my team has done this action, how many times, what, over what period, things like that. And so I will start planning that out next week and see if we can make progress on that. So that's our next big feature. We've got a big run up now till Christmas, and we kind of plan on getting reporting out throughout November and integrations out for December, so that we have a big start to January. But yeah, that's it. So if you've enjoyed this video, then I'd appreciate some love. Any comments, then put it in the comments and I'll answer it. If you start your message with "Hey James," then I will respond in a future video. If you want to check out the guys that I work with, that's Luke and Andy. They do a weekly podcast, which is the Giighire podcast. I'll get that right one day. But yeah, so my plan here is, obviously this was supposed to be, the CV formatting feature was supposed to be like a little mini series to try see how it goes, and this is episode 7, I think. So I probably won't record next week, or I will, I don't know, just we're gonna play it by ear. But yeah, we'll see. I want to kind of see how this mini series goes, to see if you kind of like watching me day in day out with these little mini video updates, or if you'd prefer like one video that just follows the whole feature build start to finish. So yeah, let me know. See you in the next video.